Hi, everybody. This is Tommy Lasorda. Listen to The Sandlot, the best thing that could happen to you.
The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball.
Are you crying?
It's a part of our past, Ray.
There's no crying.
It reminds us of all that once was good.
There's no crying in baseball.
Just a bit outside.
Baseball will be very, very good to me.
It's a simple game. You throw the ball, you hit the ball, you catch the ball.
Personally, I think we got hosed on that.
The Sandlots Radio Network is on the air. And now, starting pitcher for the Sandlots, former pro player and Major League scout, Ted Howard.
This is National League All-Star Justin Upton.
Hi, this is Shane Victorino.
Hi, this is Albert Pujols.
Hi, this is David Wright.
It's Derek Jeter of the New York Yankees, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
Welcome to The Sandlot. It's where everybody plays. It's a place of our own. It's our field. It's our neighborhood. It's our team. It's our home. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm, protecting young athletes one arm at a time. The Sandlot is also sponsored by Slide MVP, Tool Shed, Champ Trove, Max Graphics LA, South Bay Credit Union, Fairway Underwriters, Insight Performance Group, and Pro Slide. The Sandlot can be heard right here on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA, also streamed live on kvta.com. Replays of all Sandlot radio shows are published on the major podcast platforms, including SiriusXM Radio MLB Network, Spotify, SoundCloud, Simplecast, Apple Music, Pandora, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and our newest platform partner, where you can view videos of the interviews, Rumble. Also, check out Sandlot Radio Network on Instagram and Sandlot Radio Network on Facebook for video content with the Major League players. Please explore sandlotradionetwork.com for historical reels and images, along with links to our outstanding partners. Last week on The Sandlot, we had a guy that I've known since 1997, longtime Cub, won a World Series championship, broke the curse of 108 years that the Billy Goat put on the Cubs. And now he's a part of the Angels' supporting coaching staff, the beloved Tim Buss. This week on The Sandlot, we have more from the current director of fun for the Angels, Bussy, Tim Buss. Plus, we caught up with the Angels manager, longtime Major League catcher, Hawaiian-born Kurt Suzuki, and Angels veteran reliever, Major League All-Star, and part of the 2025 Championship Dodgers. We have throwback Kirby Yates. We also caught up with longtime center fielder for the Cardinals, current outfield and base running coach, world champion John Jay. We're going to start you off with Who's Hot and Who's Not, featuring our resident baseball fanatic and producer, Nick Wright. Nick, now that we're a little past the halfway point, let's take a look at the standings and who's hot and who's not. So far, we've played over 100 baseball games. Some teams have played as many as 103 of 162 games, so we have better than a small sample size. We're two-thirds of the way through the season almost. And right now in the American League East, the Tampa Bay Rays just continue to hang on. They're 5-5 in their last 10, and the Yankees have been on a surge 7-3, and they're 2.5 back. And the Red Sox, the hottest team in baseball, they're 9-1 in their last 10, but they went on a 14-game winning streak to get them 7 back, and now over 500 by 3 games.
And yeah, Tad, just to add to the Boston Red Sox, their 14-game win streak, it's the second longest winning streak in the 126-year history of the franchise. They almost tied the record set in 1946 against Baltimore. Unfortunately, they fell short. They are still 15-1 in their last 16 and 20-3 in their last 23.
Baltimore Orioles are also on a bit of a run, 8-2 in their last 10, and they're 50-53, 10 games back. And then the Blue Jays are 3-7 in their last 10, kind of reflective of the entire season. They're 10 under, 46-56, and 13.5 games back. We go over to the American League Central and we look at the White Sox, the surprise team of this year. After a couple of years of setting records for the most losses in the history of the game, this young team is very exciting. They got a couple players that are future superstars, and if they can keep together, they have a pretty good looking future. They are right now 1 game in front in the Central, in front of the Cleveland Guardians. They're 7-3 in their last 10, and so are the Guardians. So the Guardians are just keeping pace 1 game back.
Real quick, interesting stat about the Chicago White Sox, Tad. Date of the 54th win for the White Sox. In 2023, it was until September 6th. 2024, one of the worst seasons ever. They didn't get there. 2025, last year, September 5th. And this year, 2026, July 22nd. What a turnaround.
The Minnesota Twins are the next team in third place, and they're 50-53, 5 games back. Detroit says that they're still thinking they got a chance to win this division, and they're not going to sell Mr. Scooble at the deadline. So they're 48-54. They're 6-4 in their last 10, so they're doing okay over their last 10 games. And then in the cellar in the Central, we have the Kansas City Royals. Big disappointment. Their pitching just hasn't been what it was last year, and they're 17 games back. Let's jump over to the American League West, where we got the Texas Rangers just a half game in front of the Seattle Mariners. They're 5-5 in their last 10, and Seattle's 4-6 in their last 10. This division is struggling. The first place team is 500. The Houston Astros are 50-54. They're only 2 games back, and they're 4-6 in their last 10. Athletics are 43-59 and 2-8 in their last 10, and the Angels 41-62, 21 games under 500. And 10.5 games back. Sad for the Angels because they still have those guys that could be great. I'd love to see Mike Trout in playoffs someday. It might mean that they have to trade him for that to happen. Let's jump over to the National League, where we got in the East, the Braves continue to play great baseball, 6-4 in their last 10. They're 4.5 in front of the Phillies, who've been on a bit of a slide, 5-5 in their last 10 after surging to get back in the race. They're 4.5 games back right now. The Marlins have got 1-9 in the last 10, which is really hurting them because they're still 1 game over 500, and they were really in the race until this last little slide that they've had. Washington Nationals, if you look at their record, 52-51, it's good to see that they're over 500. They might be sellers at the deadline. They're 8.5 games back. They're not going to make the playoffs. They got some good young players that could be trade bait at the deadline. And then the Mets, oh my God, with the payroll they have and the players that they acquired in the offseason, Bichette and Soto, and yet they're 43-60, 17 games under 500 and 10.5 games back in the National League East. So they're going to be sellers at the deadline. You got to look at Lindor possibly getting dumped. National League Central. The Brewers continue to run away with the Central. They're 7 in front of the Cubs. They're 6-4 in their last 10, so they're just keeping the pace. The Cubbies are 5-5 in their last 10 and 7 games back. St. Louis Cardinals are in third place, 52-49. You wonder who's going to be in this division sellers at the deadline. They're 11.5 back, the Cardinals. Pirates, 53-50. It's good to see them over 500 and 11.5 back. And then the Reds, 47-54, probably going to be sellers at the deadline, 16.5 games back. And then we have in the National League West, of course, the Dodgers are the best team in baseball with the best record. They're 65-38. They're 11.5 games in front of the Diamondbacks. They're only 5-5 in their last 10, and the Diamondbacks have had a surge of 8-2 in their last 10. So they're playing pretty good baseball to be 11.5 games behind the best team in baseball. And the thing about the Dodgers, they got some guys coming off injuries very soon that are going to make a huge difference in how well the Dodgers play down the stretch.
And Tad, just to tack on, Shohei Ohtani will be shut down from pitching for some time as he manages a knee injury. But recently, he did have a bullpen session, so it's a really good sign moving forward. But still, interesting how long he's not going to be pitching, because that could open the door for other NL guys vying for the MVP, who Shohei's always looking down on, like your guy Pete Crow Armstrong, for example, having a great year.
And then we got the Giants, 42-60, 18 games under 500. They're 22.5 back. You got to wonder about the college manager that they signed to be their major league manager and how well that's panned out for them, because with the payroll they have and the acquisitions they've made, and I feel for Buster Posey, because maybe the biggest bad move he made was to hire a college coach to be a major league manager. So look for some changes in San Francisco. And then the Rockies, of course, 41-63, 3-7 in their last 10. These are 24.5 games back. They've got a list of players on their roster that are going to be up for sale at the trade deadline, including their catcher, Mr. Goodman, who's got 31 home runs. Nick, let's talk about why these teams are in the position they are by looking at the players, the hitters, and the pitchers. Who's hot and who's not?
All right, Tad, let's see who's been hot and not post-All-Star break. But first, leading the league in home runs still is Yordan Alvarez. He's at 34, just having a monster season. Kyle Schwarb's right behind him at 33, though. Hunter Goodman of the Colorado Rockies at 31. And Ben Rice of the Yankees at 30. My guy, Junior Caminero, at 29. But over the last week, C.J. Abrams of the Washington Nationals, he's belted 4 home runs, 8 ribbies. Ty France of the San Diego Padres, he's got 4 home runs and 9 RBIs. And the aforementioned Hunter Goodman, 4 home runs, 6 RBIs. and Jackson Merrill. Some of the Padres are starting to heat up like Tatis. I'll get to him soon. But Jackson Merrill has 4 home runs and 6 RBIs over the last week. Stephen Kwan of the Cleveland Guardians, he's hitting .520 over the last 7 games with 13 hits. Chandler Simpson of my Rays, he's been heating up. He's hitting .476 with 10 hits and 4 stolen bases. Dylan Dingler from the Detroit Tigers hitting .455, 3 home runs and 6 ribbies. And Fernando Tatis, 11 RBIs and 8 hits, hitting .364 over the last week. The Fernando Tatis that we all know, he was a no-show in the first half of the season. He looks like he's back now. Shifting over to pitching, you're talking about the Chicago White Sox earlier having a turnaround season. Big reason, Sean Burke is having a great year. He only has a .320 ERA on the season. His last 3 games only giving up 2 runs. Shota Imanaga from Chicago Cubs, over his last few games only giving up a run. Reed Detmers from the Angels, over his last few starts, he's only given up a run with a .79 ERA. And Tad, let's get to some guys who haven't been so hot lately. Trent Grisham from the Yankees, only hitting 100 over his last several games with only a couple hits. Ryan O'Hearn from the Pittsburgh Pirates, .91, only 2 hits and 22 at-bats. Mason Wynn of the St. Louis Cardinals, 105. 2 hits and 19 at-bats. James Wood, 136. Only a couple hits, 22 at-bats. Just a lot of guys struggling here. Got to even bring up our guy Taylor Ward, only hitting 158 with a couple hits and 19 at-bats as well. Love you, Taylor. And some pitchers who've been struggling. We got Junior Tur from the Athletics. He's given up 14 earned runs over his last couple starts. Braxton Ashcraft from Pittsburgh, he's given up 12 runs over his last couple starts, as well as Noah Cameron from the Kansas City Royals and Zebby Matthews from the Minnesota Twins. And Tad, that's who's been hot and not for the week.
Thanks, Nick. Don't go away. We have more inside from the clubhouse stories from last week's guest, Angels coach Tim Buss. We're on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm, trusted to protect young athletes 1 arm at a time. For more information, go to the sandlotradionetwork.com website, the partners page. Click on Kinetic Arm to start protecting your player's arm today.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Hi, I'm Justin Robleski, and I listen to The Sandlot.
This is Alex Vesia, 2-time champion, left-hand pitcher in the bullpen, and I listen to The Sandlot.
Imagine this. Your kid throws out their arm. 1 bad pitch and suddenly it's surgery, months of pain, and watching from the sidelines. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes, but it doesn't have to be that way. The Kinetic Arm is the first dynamic arm stabilizer, supporting the shoulder and elbow when they need it most. Trusted by thousands of athletes. Go to sandlotradionetwork.com, click Partners, Kinetic Arm, and protect your kid's arm today.
Champ Trove, where every championship becomes a treasure worth keeping. As a leading one-stop provider of custom championship rings, awards, and team packages, Champ Trove helps sports teams, clubs, and schools turn victories into lasting, high-quality memorabilia. We craft fully bespoke rings and team packages tailored to your vision, finished in just 15 days and shipped free. No rigid templates, no hidden fees, just a dedicated designer guiding you from concept to creation. Just go to champtrove.com. For every champion, forever. Champ Trove.
That sound, it happens every season. The base runner hesitates, a bad slide, a twisted ankle. The truth is, most kids are never actually taught how to slide safely. Slide MVP changes that. It's the portable sliding mat designed to teach proper feet-first technique so players build confidence before game day. No guesswork, no fear, just confidence when it counts. Train at home, train at practice, train the right way. Visit the sandlotradionetwork.com partners page for slidemvp.com. Slide MVP, because 1 bad slide shouldn't change everything. Looking to stand out? At Max Graphics LA, they bring your ideas to life. From custom screen printing and high-quality embroidery to eye-catching signs and banners, they do it all. Outfit your team, promote your business, or create one-of-a-kind personal gear. Whether it's company uniforms, sports league fan swag, or custom designs for any occasion, we've got you covered. Fast, reliable, and made just the way you want it. You know, I don't say this lightly. I've been around the game a long time. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes. Until now, nothing truly supported how the arm worked while throwing. Meet the Kinetic Arm, the first dynamic stabilizer supporting both shoulder and elbow in motion. Trusted by over 100,000 athletes. Want to protect your player? Click on sandlot-radionetwork.com partners and order your Kinetic Arm today.
Hi, everybody. This is Rick Mundy, former Major League player, former All-Star, and now broadcaster with the Los Angeles Dodgers. You're tuned in exactly where you need to be. It's Sandlot, and it's baseball.
Talking baseball, the man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Duke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque.
Especially Shohei, Mookie, and the Judge.
Welcome back to the Sandlot. It's where everybody plays. We're on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA, also streamed live on kvta.com. The Sandlot is protected by our trusted protector of young athletes, the Kinetic Arm. Right now we have LA Angels clubhouse positive vibe generator, director of fun and good times, Tim Buss.
Yeah, you get those little butterflies that you get that little nervousness. Yeah, I get that every day when I go to the ballpark. You get that excitement, if you will, that trying to hunt that win every day, you know, and to try and change someone's life in a positive manner just for one little moment. That's huge too. I remember, my first couple of years in the big leagues, not every place had a radar gun in the stadium, so I had to, after I stretched the guys out on the foul line before the game started, I'd have to go grab a radar gun, I grab a scorecard, and I grabbed 2 scout seats, and I'd go up there, and I would have to chart the game, and then Larry Rothschild would look up at me from the dugout, and I'd tell him what the velocity was. So 2 fingers up would have been 92, 2 fingers down would have been 88. So, and then the game would be over, and I'd go back in and work the guys out after the game. So what a perspective to be up there with all those scouts.
Yeah, that's when you really learn. The first scouting report I ever saw, Tim, was Danny Monzone was going to be my mentor when I got hired by the Cubs to scout. And he shows me my scouting report. I'd never seen a scouting report before. He shows me the one on me. And I was a 3, Timmy. That means I'm a situational right-handed pitcher. I wish I would have known that when I was playing because I thought I was a setup guy or a closer. I'm going to face 1 right-hander, maybe 2. But what I found out was I did have situational value. And very limited situational value. But guess what? Every major league team has that right-hander and that left-hander that only come in and get those 2 guys out. Now, you got to face at least 3 because of the new rules. But back in the day, you could just come in and face 1 guy. And if they match you up right, there's always really a guy that doesn't like to hit off of this style, right? So
right.
At that level, I think it would have been way easier. Better fields, better fielders, and ground ball left side usually an out.
Yeah, that's really cool. We do something here with our game planning, not all the time, but maybe once a month or once every 6 weeks, where our guys that do the game planning will tell our own players how they would game plan against them. And so for these guys to find out, sometimes it's sensitive because you're trying to tell someone they can get you out this way. Hitters get a little sensitive with that, but if you listen to stuff like that, you can make yourself better because these are the facts, or it's the numbers. The numbers don't lie.
Well, 232 is 232. That means you're failing a lot.
Yeah.
That makes you average now. So I think it's not easier to hit now, but it seems like you can be mediocre and get away with it a lot more now.
Yeah, and it's pitching. Gosh, pitching is really good, isn't it? I mean, it is. All these guys that come out of these bullpens and starting pitchers are throwing almost 100 miles per hour. And you sit there and we've got such a nice little game time seat right there in the dugout, and you can see, man, at field level, that ball is it's a different visual than from up in the seats.
I always tell people it's the same game. It's just the speed of which it happens at. Because if you go watch a high school game, it's the same game, 90 feet, 60 feet, 617-inch home plate. But it's the speed that things happen. You go to the minor, you see things speed up. You go to the big leagues and things are just happening way faster. And you see it even during BP. You see it when the guys are working on their defensive stuff, that they're just clued in on another level and they can do everything at a higher velocity.
Yeah, it's just amazing, isn't it? When you see a ground ball hit, and if the infielder doesn't get it and get rid of it, they might be in some trouble, unless you're second baseman. But you hit the ball on the left side as an infielder, you can't travel, you can't. You got to get it and get rid of it.
Yeah, and
So fast.
one thing too, back in the day, the average right-hander supposedly ran from home to first in 4.3 seconds and the lefty 4.2. Well, I spent a lot of time at big league games, and just out of curiosity, I'll get to watch out. And unfortunately, for the major leagues, I'd say it's more like a 4.5 to first and a 4.4 from the left side. Because more than anything, people don't hustle. They don't run hard out of the box all the time. Man, if you run hard out of the box all the time and you have average speed, you'll get down there in 4.3. And as soon as you see a guy run a 4.7, you're like, he's dogging it. He's dogging it. Well, because guys get comfortable as major league players and they know that they're not going to get sent down, they don't run hard all the time. And that bothers me because you only get so many games in your life, Tim. You don't want to leave anything out there. But you also got to pace yourself. I understand that. And but, man, the game was played hard when I grew up, and we all grew up trying to play like Pete Rose. So anything less than playing that hard, to me, was it was soft.
Yeah, agreed. And, everyone game plans. And so those teams that game plan and they say, hey, if the ball's hit in the outfield, you got to get it back in because this dude he's running all out from the box, and it makes guys hurry and they bobble the ball, and then you can take two nowadays. But if you lollygag it, that makes you a lollygagger, by the way.
Yeah.
Then teams know that I can take my time. I don't have to be in a hurry. I have no panic throw. So you're really doing yourself a disservice by not hustling.
Well, I've noticed the outfielders' arms accuracy has really gone backwards, and the play at the plate. If you throw a ball to home from the outfield and the catcher has to leave the circle, I am blown away. It's like one hop to the dish is something that is easy, I always thought. And when you see the catcher leave the circle, that means he's off by 30 feet. How can you be off by 30 feet? Man, I've just seen that outfield arms and accuracy of their throwing has gone way backwards.
Yeah, I see it too. A lot of things. I think guys, and you've probably seen it, I think outfielders are playing, for the most part, I think they're playing a lot deeper to manage against, slug and that type of stuff. So I think that those throws become a lot longer. But still, back in the day, guys, you could throw the ball and put it on the bag, whether it was second, third, or home.
Right.
Didn't matter how deep you were. The accuracy was there.
Well, they've changed how they go about. It used to be a crow hop. Now it's like the stand up, straight up and down, sideways shuffle. And I just don't think it's nearly as accurate. And I hate watching it, Tim, because for years it was so important that you could one hop, keep it on the money. And that's how you evaluate an outfielder's not just strength, but his accuracy of his arm to give him his grade. And nowadays I'd be giving a lot of guys 3s because they're not average arms. They're not average big league arms.
Yeah, and what's interesting too is, when I was a kid or whatever, you see, outfielders, they dive feet first now, right? Yeah. They dive feet first to catch a sliding, whereas I was, you would lay out, dude. If you were going to go catch a ball, I didn't play the out, but you would lay out like you were diving into a swimming pool or something to catch a ball forward. And that's changed too. You don't see guys doing that. I think I don't know, maybe they're afraid of injury or whatever, but it's interesting.
Well, and that's an instinct thing. And even when I was an old guy playing in Australia and I'd have to fill in and play outfield or infield, if the ball was hitting a spot where I got to lay out for this, I didn't think about it. It was just an instinct. You just did it.
Yeah.
And that's what's bizarre to me. I've seen guys hold back from diving. They might have been able to get there if they dove, but they held back. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You're a big leaguer and you're getting paid a lot of money. Dive.
Yeah, I know. That's interesting things you see.
Tim Voss, since 1997, has been in professional baseball. That's a long time. With the Cubs, the Dodgers, and now with the Angels. Joe Madden brought you over. You've been there, and you're the director of fun. You're the guy that makes everybody have fun and be loose. And like I said, Tim, it's the best job there is in baseball. You're a very lucky man. And to spend all those times with all those years with the Cubs as a Cub fan is huge.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we got to enjoy ourselves, right? It's a long season, and before the game, they don't yell work ball, they yell play ball. It's a game. you play it, let's enjoy it. Most of the time you get the most out of players when they're enjoying themselves and they're not all tense and worried about having the fear of failure. So let's have some fun. Let's not take ourselves so seriously. And let's get dudes moving around the bases and get some guys hitting ground balls and throwing the ball to first.
And after seeing you on the Lovable reunion and knowing what you meant to the Cubs organization when they finally did break the 108-year GOAT streak, it means a lot to me that you were a difference maker for that club. Because in my lifetime, the Cubs had to win, and they did. So now I can go to my grave knowing that the team that I spent my whole life dedicated to finally became a champ.
Yeah, it's a lot of weight off everyone's shoulders, so it's good. Glad I could be a part of it, and I'm glad to be on the show joining you here.
He's Tim Boss. He's now director of fun and a staff assistant over there for the Angels. And the weather, every time I go down there, it's so perfect, dude. It's like if you had to come to a job every day and do outdoor stuff, is there any better place than Angel Stadium?
No, some days I'm from the Midwest, man. So I'm like, can I get a couple clouds here? But no, you can't be. It's the same weather every day, and the ballpark is beautiful. I love it, and the fans are great. It's a great friendly fan experience. So, and I love the people around the ballpark. You, Gooby, Erica, everyone. That's and Wayne Randazza, who's a big Chicago guy. So it's and I love the organization. So it's great. I'm super duper fortunate, and I know that. So
he's a baseball lifer. He's Tim Boss. He's with the Angels now. Timmy, I want to thank you so much for being a guest on the Sandlot once again.
Thank you, my brother. It's my honor.
Thanks to Timmy Buss. Don't go away. We have former longtime Major League catcher, now manager of the LA Angels, Kurt Suzuki, and former Major League player, now coach for the Cardinals, John Jay. I'm your host, Tad Powers. We're on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm. Why wait to start protecting your player's arm? Go to sandlotradionetwork.com for partners and order your Kinetic Arm today.
The king of crash. The colossus of clout. The colossus of clout. Babe Ruth! The Great Bambino!
We're at the Sandlot Baseball Camp in New Smyrna Beach, Florida, and we listen to the Sandlot!
My name is Logan O'Hoppe, Major League player for the Angels for the past 4 years, and I listen to the Sandlot.
This is Joe Adell, Los Angeles Angels right fielder, and I listen to the Sandlot Radio Network.
I'm Adam Frazier, Los Angeles Angels, and you're listening to the Sandlot.
I'm Wade Meckler, I'm a Major League Baseball player with the Los Angeles Angels, and you listen to the Sandlot.
My name is Ethan Holiday. Play shortstop for the Stillwater High School baseball team. I am a couple months away from being hopefully selected in the Major League Baseball draft. I am now part of the Sandlot.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If you know me, it's probably from a fantastic TV show called Dirty Jobs. If you don't worry about it. The important thing is I'm in the Sandlot with Tad. And if you think it's dirty in here, well, you're right.
Imagine this. Your kid throws out their arm. One bad pitch and suddenly it's surgery, months of pain, and watching from the sidelines. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes, but it doesn't have to be that way. The Kinetic Arm is the first dynamic arm stabilizer, supporting the shoulder and elbow when they need it most. Trusted by thousands of athletes. Go to sandlotradionetwork.com, click Partners, Kinetic Arm, and protect your kid's arm today.
When you run a sports facility, tournament, camp, or recreation business, you need more than insurance. You need coverage built for the game. For over 35 years, Fairway Underwriters has specialized in protecting sports and recreation organizations nationwide, from baseball and softball facilities to camps, leagues, tournaments, golf courses, fitness centers, and special events. Because when the unexpected happens, experience matters. Fairway Underwriters, the name trusted for quality and innovation since 1989. Call 1-800-662-2141 or visit fairwayunderwriters.com today. Fairway Underwriters, protection built for sports.
That sound It happens every season. The base runner hesitates, a bad slide, a twisted ankle. The truth is, most kids are never actually taught how to slide safely. Slide MVP changes that. It's the portable sliding mat designed to teach proper feet-first technique so players build confidence before game day. No guesswork, no fear, just confidence when it counts. Train at home, train at practice, train the right way. Visit the sandlot-radio-network.com partners page for slidemvp.com. Slide MVP, because one bad slide shouldn't change everything.
Champ Trove, where every championship becomes a treasure worth keeping. As a leading one-stop provider of custom championship rings, awards, and team packages, Champ Trove helps sports teams, clubs, and schools turn victories into lasting, high-quality memorabilia. We craft fully bespoke rings and team packages tailored to your vision, finished in just 15 days and shipped free. No rigid templates, no hidden fees, just a dedicated designer guiding you from concept to creation. Just go to champtrove.com. For every champion, forever. Champ Trove.
You know, I don't say this lightly. I've been around the game a long time. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes. Until now, nothing truly supported how the arm worked while throwing. Meet the Kinetic Arm, the first dynamic stabilizer supporting both shoulder and elbow in motion. Trusted by over 100,000 athletes. Want to protect your player? Click on sandlot-radio-network.com partners and order your Kinetic Arm today.
Hey everybody, this is Trevor Hoffman, a Hall of Famer and a San Diego Padre, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
Welcome back to The Sandlot. It's where everybody plays, right here on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA, also streamed live on kvta.com. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm. Right now we have Los Angeles Angels manager Kurt Suzuki, followed by former Major League player, now coach with the Cardinals, John Jay. We're with a former Major League catcher, and so many of them end up in this manager's role. And here we are in Anaheim with Kurt Suzuki, who's now the manager of the Angels. Kurt, thank you for being a guest on the Sandlot.
Of course, thank you.
Your childhood Sandlot days, because you didn't have the typical upbringing as every kid that plays baseball at the Major League level.
Yeah, growing up in Hawaii, it was definitely not very accessible in Hawaii, and so it was you playing on just open fields and have throwdown bases and things like that. So now you look at all these fields, these little league fields, they're all beautiful here. So definitely it was definitely fun. It was definitely a unique experience, but I loved it.
Who were the Major League players that you looked up to at that time and maybe tried to emulate?
Yeah, I was obviously I was a Braves fan. Growing up, obviously watched the Braves on TBS without MLB Network and all these things like that now. But yeah, I love the Braves, and I loved watching Chipper Jones, Andrew Jones, all those guys. That was kind of who I looked up to.
And did you think that you'd ever have a chance to be a Major League player when you were that age? Because like you said, it wasn't that accessible in Hawaii. The level of play wasn't that good compared to everywhere else.
Yeah, you definitely don't think that you'd be, in the major leagues one day. It's just, when you're that young, you're kind of naive to the fact of what it could be like. But then I think as I got older, obviously feelings changed and things change, and you get that kind of sense of potentially it could happen, but never in a million years that I think I would make it to the big leagues and play this long.
Just like a lot of guys who are straight out of high school aren't quite ready for the big high levels, you walked on at Fullerton because you didn't really have a whole lot of offers. What was that like to show up there and know that you had to try to make that team?
Yeah, it was definitely a great opportunity. Obviously Horton, Vanderhook, and Serrano believed and gave me an opportunity to come and compete, and that's really all I wanted was, I didn't need a scholarship. I just wanted an opportunity. Coming from Hawaii, you don't get much exposure, so I understood that. I wasn't looked at a lot, so just to be able to have that opportunity to showcase my skills and see what I could do was a great, very grateful for that.
You won that starting catcher's job pretty quickly, and you take that team to the College World Series, not just to the World Series, but you win it. And Fullerton's not like they win it every year.
Yeah, it's definitely a special moment, definitely the pinnacle of college baseball when you go to the College World Series, and what a surreal experience. We went from starting the year as potentially the worst team in Fullerton history to winning the College World Series. So it was definitely a great run. It was a lot of friendships built, a lot of memories made, and it was a great time.
In the minor leagues, and you start just like everybody else at the lower levels, and you got to climb your way through. Once you got there, did you feel like, man, now I got a shot?
Yeah, you definitely, when you get drafted, you always believe you have a chance. And just the opportunity that the A's gave me with, Billy Bean, just giving me that opportunity was something that when I see Billy or David Forrest, I got a lot of respect. I got a lot of gratefulness towards them for the opportunity and the belief of that they had in me.
And then you get to the big leagues. You stay for 16 years. That is a very lengthy career for any position on the field, especially a catcher, because, man, you guys take a beating back there. You learned a lot through all those different organizations. Some of the guys that influenced you once you got to the big league.
Yeah, obviously played, at an early time when, coming up as a younger player, the big guys on the team were, Mark Kotze, Eric Chavez, Jason Kendall, Mark Ellis. Those type of players really kind of took me under their wing. And when we played the A's, Bobby Crosby's the third base coach, who was also one of those guys that was very influential in teaching me the way to handle myself professionally in the big league level. And that's something that cherished, because it's not easy. It's not easy in the big league level. So to have mentors, to have guys that I could lean on, the guys that I could look up to, definitely helped me.
You spent time as a player here, and very quickly, after 16 years, you're in the front office, and then a manager very quickly after retirement. That's not very common either.
Yeah, it's very grateful for the opportunity. Being in the front office, obviously the relationships that were made through my playing career, and then through the front office to get this opportunity that Perry gave me. Forever grateful for that, and it was the belief in me, to be able to manage a team and to come in and do what I can to help was awesome.
One of the coolest things about this job, and I noticed that you're not the only one that has a young man down here that gets some exposure to the game, but the coaches have a chance to bring their kids down here. And I was able to do that when I was with the Cubs quite a bit with my kids, and I got to say that exposure is special.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. I remember, so funny, in Oakland, Matt Holliday would have his two boys, Ethan and Jackson, out in the clubhouse and the field, all the time. And now look, I'm not saying, they're obviously special talents, but just to be able to have the exposure, they can see how things are run in the clubhouse. And the other thing is we're away from our families so much time out of the year that you don't get many opportunities to be with your family. So whenever you have that opportunity, I welcome it. I think it's great. I think it's great for morale. I think it's great for the mentality of the coaches to be able to have their kids, and the players to have their kids in here. I think it's just a great thing all around.
And you see how big their eyes are when they're down here, the exposure, the visuals that these guys get. They're not getting visuals from club baseball players. They're getting visuals from the best in the world.
Yeah, you watch how these guys carry themselves. You watch how they work. You watch how they go about their business. And these are the best players in the world. So to be able to watch them on a daily basis or a regular basis, and watch how they prepare, watch how they handle themselves in failure, in great moments, can only help.
He's been a longtime Major League player. Now he's a manager with the Angels. Kurt Suzuki, thank you so much for being a guest on The Sandlot.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We're with former Major League player, now coach with the Cardinals, John Jay. John, thanks so much for being a guest on The Sandlot.
Oh, it's great to be out here.
You grew up in Miami. There's some good baseball down there. You were a kid that had exposure to great baseball, got to play it year-round. At what age did you feel like you could do this professionally?
Yeah, I got great exposure as a kid. I always say you're a byproduct of your environment, and when I was growing up, baseball was everywhere. Every corner you turn, there was baseball. But I think I thought I'd have a chance professionally was after my senior year of high school. I got to play on a team called the Florida Bombers, and it was a team with a lot of nationally recognized players. And being in that clubhouse, in that locker room every day and playing games with them, it really gave me the confidence to say, like, hey, man, you know what? Maybe I can make a living out of this one day.
And who were the guys that you looked up to? Was it the Marlins? Was it the Rays?
I was actually a Braves fan growing up. We didn't get the team in Miami until '93, so I was a big Braves fan. And obviously, they had a kind of a lock on everybody with TBS back then. But I was a big David Justice guy. I was a big, I was a big Ken Griffey Jr. fan. But the Braves were kind of like always my team. Andrew Jones was obviously a great center fielder, and I really watched him a lot. So I'd say I paid attention to a lot of the Braves guys.
And you kind of modeled your game around Andrew Jones because you played shallow and you went and got it.
Yeah, I did play shallow. I did watch him a lot, and I did like the way he played out there. And he's one of the guys I really did admire, and I still admire to this day. And he had a huge influence on my career.
You had a long career, a lot with the Cardinals. And the Cardinals, let's face it, that is a good organization to come through. It's also a great group of fans that watch you play.
Yeah, it's a great organization. And for me, it was great getting drafted by there. Coming out of the University of Miami, a similar run program. Same thing as my high school, Columbus, down in Miami. It was, we had standards. And, I got to this organization, there were standards, and I fit in perfect. It was a perfect match for me.
Yeah, and you were the type of player that really was a Cardinal. They have a way they play, and they have a way they carry themselves, and you seem like that kind of guy.
Yeah, I think that's something that was just very important, and it was something that was instilled for me as a kid. Is just be a professional, on and off the field, and just try to handle your emotions the right way, and be a pro out there. So that's something I always took a lot of pride in.
This is not the first team that you've been a coach for, but you kind of landed here back with the Cardinals. Do you feel like this is home for you?
Oh, definitely. This is my baseball home. I got to enjoy, many different stops in my career, but, the 6 years in St. Louis and winning a championship and, just looking back now, that playoff run that we went from 11 to 15, it's special. So this is definitely my baseball home, and, the fans are great, the people are great, and it's nice to be back and make an impact in the organization.
You start in the big leagues, you end up spending a long time, you become a veteran, and now you're a coach. What was that adjustment like?
Yeah, it's different, right? When you're grinding with the guys and you're in the clubhouse, your voice is heard a little bit easier, right? You're going through it with them, and I think that's the hardest part as a coach is, you're with them, you're going through it with them, but you're not there with them all the time, right? So it's a little bit different, but like I said, it's been a joy to be able to coach in the big leagues, and like I said, I had a lot of guys that came before me that helped me get to this point. There was a big village of people, from Miami, from college, from pro ball, and just trying to give back what I got out of this game, which is my career and my life.
He's a former major league player. Now he's a coach with the Cardinals, right where he belongs. Jay, I want to thank you for being a guest on the Sandlot.
Thanks for having me in the Sandlot. This is great.
It's always good to hear from a major league player turned manager, only on the Sandlot. Thanks Kurt Suzuki and St. Louis Cardinals outfielder and base running coach, former major leaguer John Jay. We are Fox Sports 1590 KVTA, the Ventura Sports Talk Station. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. The Sandlot is presented by the Kinetic Arm. Go to sandlotradionetwork.com, partners. Click on the Kinetic Arm and start protecting your player's future today.
Going outside, just like I like it.
Hey, it's former Major League Baseball player Matt Holliday, and I'm actually known as Jackson Holliday's dad these days. My son was the number 1 overall pick, and I got another one on the way. And we still listen to Sandlot Radio. Proud to be part of the Sandlot Radio family.
This is Clint Barmas, and I'm still listening to The Sandlot.
This is former Major League pitcher Dave Dravecki, and you are listening to The Sandlot.
This is Doug Brocail of the Houston Astros, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
Dusty Baker, manager of the Cincinnati Reds, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
This is Joe Mauer of the Minnesota Twins, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
Hey everybody, this is Damian Moss with the Gulf Shores Collegiate League and 5-Star National. When I'm traveling, I'm always listening to The Sandlot, just like you should.
Hey, this is Pete Rose Jr., son of the all-time hit leader Pete Rose, and you're listening to The Sandlot with Teak, better known as Tad Powers.
Imagine this. Your kid throws out their arm. One bad pitch and suddenly it's surgery, months of pain, and watching from the sidelines. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes, but it doesn't have to be that way. The Kinetic Arm is the first dynamic arm stabilizer, supporting the shoulder and elbow when they need it most. Trusted by thousands of athletes. Go to sandlotradionetwork.com, click Partners, Kinetic Arm, and protect your kid's arm today.
Looking to stand out? At Max Graphics LA, they bring your ideas to life. From custom screen printing and high-quality embroidery to eye-catching signs and banners, they do it all. Outfit your team, promote your business, or create one-of-a-kind personal gear. Whether it's company uniforms, sports league fan swag, or custom designs for any occasion, we've got you covered. Fast, reliable, and made just the way you want it. Call 310-350-3394 or visit maxgraphicsla.com today. Max Graphics LA, where your brand gets noticed. Running a business is hard enough. Growing one is even harder. That's where Insight Performance Group comes in. They help businesses streamline operations, improve marketing, strengthen sales systems, and create processes that drive growth. Instead of spending all of your time putting out fires, Insight helps you build a more efficient, scalable business. If you're ready to work smarter, grow faster, and get more out of your business, schedule a free consultation by going to sandlot-radionetwork.com website partners page. Click on the logo for Insight Performance Group to begin growing your business today. You know, I don't say this lightly. I've been around the game a long time. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes. Until now, nothing truly supported how the arm worked while throwing. Meet the kinetic arm, the first dynamic stabilizer supporting both shoulder and elbow in motion. Trusted by over 100,000 athletes. Want to protect your player? Click on sandlot-radionetwork.com partners and order your kinetic arm today.
It was pretty much decided for me to play baseball when I was born.
The Sandlot's where it all starts, doesn't it?
I wasn't bigger than everybody. I just threw harder.
It doesn't take any talent to hustle.
If you don't pull for the Dodgers, there's a good chance you may not get into heaven.
Something happening here. Welcome back to the Sandlot. It's where everybody plays, right here on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot is presented by the most trusted arm in the industry, the kinetic arm. Right now, we have a veteran reliever, a world champion with the Dodgers. He got his ring this year. He's now the veteran presence in the Angels bullpen. He's Hawaiian born, just like Mr. Suzuki. Kirby Yates. Kirby, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sandlot.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
We talked before. You've been an all-star. You've won a World Series, and you got a ring. You did get a ring. So we're giving you that. You've been a guy that came out of Hawaii, and there's not been a lot of Hawaiians that have made it to the major leagues, but you're one of them.
Yeah.
We have a mutual friend in the Wong family. I want to thank you for being a guest on the Sandlot, but also I want to know about your childhood Sandlot story on Hawaii. Like growing up, who were the guys you hung out with and played? Who did you look up to? Who did you try to emulate?
I mean, I love the game. My dad played fast pitch softball when I was growing up. My brothers played too, so I mean, I spent all my weekends basically at the ballpark growing up. You know, whether my dad was playing all day in a softball tournament, usually me and all the other kids would go run and find our own game to play, and that's kind of where the love started. And then, you know, when my brothers started getting into it too, they're older than me, so I was always the youngest running around, hanging on the field, and doing that. So start from a young age. Huge Ken Griffey Jr. fan growing up. Loved the Mariners at a point when it was him and, you know, that Randy Johnson in that run, you know, I guess the mid-90s. And, yeah, I mean, I just fell in love with the game from a very, very young age.
What age did you feel like you might have a chance?
I don't know. I just know that when I was young, about probably 4 or 5 years old, when I started really thinking I could play, you know, I felt like I was better than everybody that was my age. So I think that kind of was probably one of the driving forces, just to try and be the best that I can. And, you know, from probably, I don't know, I want to say second grade or third grade, I was telling my teachers that I wanted to be a professional baseball player. So it happened pretty young, I would say.
I've had a couple other major leaguers say that they said it to teachers, and teachers told them to pick another profession because that was impossible. Did they happen to say that to you too?
I don't think they ever said it, but they're probably thinking of it. It's kind of funny thinking of it. In 8th grade, we did a time capsule, and they pulled it out recently because it's been, I think it's been 30 years or 25. It's been a long time, let's put it that way, 25 years or something like that. And they pulled it out, and, you know, in that time capsule, it had all our dreams or what did we want to be, and it said I wanted to be a professional baseball player.
When you got the call, when you finally make your debut, what was that like for your family, knowing that you battled your way through and made it to the major leagues?
Yeah, it was a pretty, I went undrafted, so the journey was, I went from not getting drafted to not thinking I had a chance to signing a contract, and then made it to the big leagues 5 years later. So, there's a lot of kind of doors that I had to kick down to do it, and first call I made was to my dad, and there's definitely some tears exchanged and things like that. But yeah, it's a moment, probably one of the better moments of your life, and probably won't ever forget it.
Now that you're here, you've been here a long time, and you've earned yourself a spot in any bullpen. Doug Jones throwback for me. You remind me of some old school pitchers that we don't see today. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I have to rely on execution, right? I've kind of lost my velo this year. I still, at times, I have the life at fastball. I still have a good split. And when both of them show up, I don't really have a problem with getting outs. It's just those times when, you're struggling a little bit. Those are the hard times that you got to find a way to get it done. I think that's what the guys did so well back in the day. You have to rely on being able to execute pitches and making pitches in a day that the era. It's, today it's filled with velo and sharp breaking pitches, and you're kind of an anomaly because you don't face guys that, throw low 90s, move the ball around, and try and get you out in that way. So you have to be sharp. You have to be on to pitch the capability if you want to pitch in. It's not easy. It's definitely getting harder the older I get. But, I always appreciated watching the older guys, too, when I came up because there's a little bit of an art to it.
And the guys that, now that you are one of the veteran types, there's some good young arms here, and with the Angels, I'm sure you're a guy that they really lean on for some advice.
Yeah, they're asking questions, and I give them my opinion. And sometimes I've said some things this year, just kind of things I've seen, and I'm like, hey, think about this for a second. And they've been really receptive. I know me and Silly kind of sit next to each other a lot in the bullpen, and especially with Bachman and Zeph and all those guys. It's a fun group down there, and they're young and they're hungry, which is cool, and they're really, really talented. So it's nice to kind of say some things and actually watch them to go out and do it. So to me, that means they're listening, they're picking up on it, they're getting smarter, they're all getting better, and it's cool for me. It's cool to kind of watch the transition happen a little bit and see the confidence grow in them.
With the Angels, this is a team that's kind of in rebuilding stage, but man, there's some good talent here, man. And when I come here early and I see these guys work and realize that there is a pretty good future here.
Yeah, there is. You always have talent. The thing with big leagues is everybody's talented, and everybody thinks that there's this massive gap from the teams that aren't doing well and the teams that are. It's not. The gap's a lot shorter than you think. It's just once you get the confidence and when you set that standard, when you come to the clubhouse and you have to win every day, that's when things start flipping. And teams got to get there, and it's no different with teams that are winning. They're probably a point in time, whether it was 20, 30 years ago or if it was 5 years ago, that they had a time where it flipped in the clubhouse, that, hey, it's time to win, and there's a different standard. So
you had one of those types of years with the Padres where everything kind of came together for you. What was it about that season? And plus, you're getting a chance to be a closer.
Yeah, I felt like, especially in 2017, I felt like, okay, I think I can be an elite bullpen guy. I think I could be, whether it's 7th, 8th, or 9th inning, I think I could do either one of those innings. I felt like I could do it pretty well after 17. 18 kind of proved that. I got momentum and, just started getting better. I got better fastball command. I got better with the split, and understood how to get guys out, understood what I was starting to be good at, and what's going to work best for me to attack hitters. And going into 19, I just felt like I was probably prepared for that. Now, I don't know if you can go into a season and you don't really predict results. I think it's hard to go in there and predict results. You have goals that you set for yourself, and I know my goal for 18 and 19 were kind of the same. It's that I wanted to be good every time I went to the mound. I didn't want to have the 1 or 2 outings where you give up 3 or 4 runs in both of those and it kind of balloons everything up, but other than that, you throw the ball well. For me, the biggest emphasis I made on those years was eliminating that. If I give up 1 run, it's fine, but don't give up multiple runs and don't do that. And I think kind of flipping that mindset and going into there and believing that I could be elite and do all that, it just happened. I fell into a good spot. I was throwing the ball right, and it was a place there I was really comfortable with the coaching staff, a catcher, and everything. So even, the city and the whole deal. So, yeah, it was one of those years that you hope everybody gets a chance to have, and I was fortunate enough to do it.
Now that you've been here for a long time, you're a veteran. As you come up in the major leagues, there's an adjustment period, and then you become a veteran, and there's a period where things start to become a little easier, not so hard to show up every day.
Yeah, the older you get, you kind of fall into your routine. You know exactly what you got to do that day. I don't think it ever gets easier. I think the league's always adjusting to you. You have to adjust to the league. There's things that you'll be doing 2 months ago that all of a sudden, I think the league tries to catch up onto your tendencies and things like that. So it's always a cat and mouse game. It goes back and forth. I think the older you get, you kind of notice it a little bit quicker and try and find a way to kind of alleviate those things where they can try and get an advantage on you so you can kind of keep the edge and keep your advantage. But yeah, I'm fortunate to be doing this for a job still.
He's now a veteran reliever for the Angels. Kirby Yates, I want to thank you so much for being a guest on the Sandlot.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks for listening to the 13th Sandlot Radio Network program of the 2026 baseball season. We'll continue to bring you unique childhood stories from the biggest names in baseball, including current, former, and future Major League players, coaches, scouts, front office personnel, and even media. as they reflect on their road to the big leagues. Remember, you can catch replays of this year's and past season's episodes on the Sandlot Radio Show SoundCloud and Simplecast pages. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook for video content with the MLB players. We also have links to our YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, SiriusXM Radio MLB Network, and all of our major podcast platform partners, including our newest platform partner. To view video interviews, we got Rumble. Please explore the sandlotradionetwork.com website to check out reels and images from our long history of covering everything from the Sandlot right to the big leagues. If you're interested in advertising your business on the Sandlot Radio Show, give us a call at 303-350-0655 or send a message through the website. I want to thank all of our guests. We had our resident baseball fanatic and producer, Nick Wright, for the rundown on who's hot and who's not in MLB. Plus, we had the rest of the story from Cubs curse-breaking fun man, now Angels coach, Tim Buss. Plus, we had the Angels manager, a former Major League catcher, Kurt Suzuki, and Angels reliever, veteran Kirby Yates, and from the St. Louis Cardinals, former world champion, 12-year Major League veteran, now Cardinal coach, John Jay. Be sure to tune in every Saturday at 8 a.m. on Fox Sports 1590 KVTA. Also streamed live on kvta.com. The Sandlot has been presented by the Kinetic Arm. To purchase and start protecting your athlete today, go to sandlotradionetwork.com, click on the Kinetic Arm on the Partners page. The Sandlot has also been sponsored by Slide MVP, Champ Trove, Tool Shed, South Bay Credit Union, Fairway Underwriters, Max Graphics LA, Insight Performance Group, and Pro Slide. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. It's a place of our own. It's our field. It's our neighborhood. It's our team. It's our home. I'm your host, Tad Powers.
Damn it! Who typed a question mark on the teleprompter? For the last time, anything you put on that prompter, Burgundy will read.
Hey, this is Mike Myers, former left-handed pitcher of the Major League Baseball, played 13 years. Everybody out there, listen to the Sandlot, have a great time, enjoy the summer, and keep on swinging for the fences.
National League All-Star Justin Upton.
Hi, this is Shane Victorino.
Hi, this is Albert Pujols.
Hi, this is David Wright. It's Derek Jeter, New York Yankees, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
Is this heaven?
It's Iowa. Is there a heaven?
Oh, yeah. It's the place dreams come true.
Hey, Dad? You want to have a catch?
I'd like that.
Imagine this. Your kid throws out their arm. One bad pitch and suddenly it's surgery, months of pain, and watching from the sidelines. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes, but it doesn't have to be that way. The Kinetic Arm is the first dynamic arm stabilizer, supporting the shoulder and elbow when they need it most. Trusted by thousands of athletes. Go to sandlotradionetwork.com, click Partners, Kinetic Arm, and protect your kid's arm today.
When you run a sports facility, tournament, camp, or recreation business, you need more than insurance. You need coverage built for the game. For over 35 years, Fairway Underwriters has specialized in protecting sports and recreation organizations nationwide, from baseball and softball facilities to camps, leagues, tournaments, golf courses, fitness centers, and special events. Because when the unexpected happens, experience matters. Fairway Underwriters, the name trusted for quality and innovation since 1989. Call 1-800-662-2141 or visit fairwayunderwriters.com today. Fairway Underwriters, protection built for sports.
The difference between safe and out is inches. And the difference between hesitation and going all out, confidence. But confidence disappears fast when you're worried about cuts and scrapes. Introducing Pro Slide. Padded compression sleeves for legs and arms, protecting knees, shins, and elbows so you can play all out. Stay in the game with Pro Slide. Get yours today by visiting the sandlotradionetwork.com website. Visit Partners, then Pro Slide. Pro Slide Sports. Play hard, stay protected. With so many banking options out there, why choose South Bay Credit Union? As a nonprofit credit union, they're here to serve you, not shareholders. That means they're able to provide better rates, fewer fees, and more valuable benefits to empower their members to live better and do better. You want to master your money? South Bay Credit Union puts you in control of your money with everyday banking solutions. From checking accounts to home mortgages, credit cards to auto loans, their members have access to the tools they need to achieve their financial goals now and in the future. You know, I don't say this lightly. I've been around the game a long time. There's an epidemic of arm injuries in youth athletes. Until now, nothing truly supported how the arm worked while throwing. Meet the kinetic arm, the first dynamic stabilizer supporting both shoulder and elbow in motion. Trusted by over 100,000 athletes. Want to protect your player? Click on sandlotradionetwork.com partners and order your kinetic arm today.